Hello my little lovebirds, TonyaTko here, and today is Tuesday and the follow-up to yesterday's question. Would you date a man or woman who wore run-down shoes? Run-down, dilapidated, beat up, run over, dirty, however you want to describe it. And for the men, would you date a woman who didn't get pedicures and had chipped toenail polish? And for the women, would you date a man who has open toe or wore open toe shoes? And this may seem like a very arbitrary question, but I was really surprised by the responses that I got. And thus, this video response, I was supposed to come back yesterday after 4 hours, but the responses were just so good. And I'm going to read off two of my very favorite a little bit later in this video. But before we get into that, let's talk about what this, well, number one, what is this video about? This video is about the 5 things to look for in a mate. And before we get into the video, let me just tell you, September 24th is my first live speaking engagement in New York City. Seating is very limited. There are only 30 seats available. It's going to be very small and intimate so that you guys will have a chance to really talk with me, ask me questions, and we can go back and forth. We're going to be doing it for 3 hours, 6:30 to 9:30. Tickets below. Go there, get the tickets before they're sold out because it will sell out. We're going to talk about everything from orgasms to investing, how to live your dream life guilt-free, how to get all the sex, love, power, and money you deserve. We're gonna talk about orgasms. I'm gonna take you to orgasm school. I'm gonna talk to you guys about investing 101, how to prepare for your future. And I'm going to talk to you about verbal violence, how to ward off people who try to deteriorate you with little things little snide remarks, and how to combat them verbally without being combative, so to speak. And then I'm going to talk to you about your powers of persuasion, how to get anybody to do anything. I remember when I did that video on manipulation, there were people who weren't ready for the topic. So the people who want to hear, come to the conference. We're going to be doing this September 24th. So listen, let's get into today's video, because you know what? I go in hard on the men when it's their turn, right? So ladies, today is your turn. I am very, very displeased. Let's talk about what was the motivation for this video. I went to a party the other night, and I was talking to this guy who, I was getting away from you. You know, you get away from a person, you go to the next group of people. The next group of people, they were engaged in dialogue. I don't know what they were talking about before I got there, but they posed the question to me: would you date a man who wore run-down shoes? And I was like, it depends on the person. I was like, who is he as a person? Is he a good person? We got into that conversation, and the two girls who were there began to get perturbed. And they started talking about the direction a person's going in, and money and all this other stuff. And I told them, I said, it has been my opinion, and it has been, and I've traveled a lot. I've traveled a lot, which is an understatement. I'm up to 26 countries, 4 or 5 wonders of the world. I've been to 4 continents or 5 continents. I have to look and add it all up. But I've been around the world, and I've seen a lot of people. I've met a lot of folks, and it's been my experience that the people with the most money have the worst looking shoes. Let's get into today's video. The 5 things that you should be looking. Oh, before I go on, you know what? And then the girls got so upset with me that one of them was like, oh, maybe because I'm still young and this, that, and the other, and then they walked away, and then they were talking about me a few feet away, and then like the other people were looking over at me, and they were obviously dissatisfied with whatever answer it was that I gave. They just weren't in alignment with it. So I went back over to them to finish up the conversation. Obviously they weren't through talking. They was just talking about it without me. So I went over there to finish up the conversation. And I asked them how old they were, and they were in their mid-20s. And I mean, I'm saying mid-20s is young. That's a little too old. That's a little too old to think that you have all the time in the world. Because remember I said, if nothing changes, nothing still stays the same, because the world is moving. We're getting older. Technology is changing. Nothing stays the same. And as we develop into who we're going to be, we don't have time to waste on the petty BS. It's foolishness. Let's talk about it. Because I try to help as much as I can. I'm your big sister, and a lot of you come to me and I try to help you with your relationship problems. But some of you are engaging in relationships that you should not have been in from the get-go. You shouldn't have been in the relationship from the beginning because there were early warning signs of potential problems. But what was it that you were looking at? Instead of looking at this person's heart, you were looking at their feet. And we're going to talk about all of that right now. I am very disappointed, ladies. I am very disappointed. And we are going to, right now, here we go. The 5 things that you should look for in a mate. Number 1, morals and ethics. Does this person have good morals, proper ethics? Does this person have scruples? Are they an honest person? Do they know how to treat people? Do they have a conscience? Number 1, morals and ethics. Number 2, values. Are you guys aligned when it comes to values? I'm talking about your core values. What moves you as a human being? Have you dedicated your life to volunteer and serving others? Do you want to be a philanthropist? Is your life all about health and fitness? Is your life all about investing and saving for the future? Is your life about having no commitment and just traveling on the road? Do you guys have similar values? And if you don't know what values are, write to me in the comments. I can even put it inside the sidebar down there, because values are the core, the building blocks. You know how like the building blocks of proteins, the building blocks of who makes you a human being. Are your values in line? Number 3, integrity. And this is very important because a lot of you ladies write to me about problems with men and the men are not doing right. Does your man have integrity? Does your woman have integrity? Do they say what they mean and mean what they say? Are they lying to you, running off with Sally Mae, Jane, Todd, or Timothy? If they say they're going to be someplace at a certain time or a certain day, are they really someplace else giving you some excuse about something else? Are they pregnant by somebody else and the baby is claimed to be yours? Does this person have integrity? Number 4, spirit. Does this person have a good spirit? Does your spirit take to this person? We are spirits in human encasing, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in one of the later points. But does your spirit take to this person? Does this person have a good spirit and good energy? Because let's be frank. Some of you ladies are writing to me about problems in relationships that you should have never been in, because from the very beginning, your spirit, this person didn't take to your energy. Your energy didn't take to their energy, their spirit. Something never sat right with you about this person. But the person just looked so good, and they smell so nice, and they had such pretty feet. What are you looking at in a mate? Does this person have a good spirit? Does your spirit take to this person? Are you even looking at their spirit? Are you looking down at their feet? The same feet that's gonna walk all over you. Come on now. Number 5. And this one right here is my favorite. Aligned goals. This is very important. Is this person going towards where you're going in life? We don't know what is the case with this person's shoes. Shoes are temporary. And you know what? Listen, let me show you. I just want to show you. This is TonyaTko's shoe. This is the shoe that I wear. Most of the days, look, it has a hole in the side. These are my favorite, my professional running shoes. These are Brooks, and I love these. And I didn't even realize that it had a hole in it until I started looking. And people in my family, they know me. Christmas last year, I had a shoe that I had to hold onto my foot with rubber bands. Then we're gonna get into the rest of today's video. But do you guys have aligned goals? And you know what? You are more than welcome to disqualify any person. Maybe their shoes are indicative of you guys not having aligned goals. What is your goal in life? Is your goal to be King Don Juan Fashionista #1? Who knows? If that is your goal in life and this person is not down with that, maybe you guys don't have aligned goals. Think about some of your goals. Is one of your goals to live debt free? Is one of your goals to travel the world? Is one of your goals to have no commitments? What are your goals? That's something that you have to ask yourself. By all means, disqualify any person that you want. But when you're looking for a mate, are you looking for a person who is going to be a good mother to your children, or a good father to your kids? Are you looking for somebody who's going to be a good husband and a good mate? Are you looking for the hottest G on the street? What are you looking for? And we're going to talk about, let's get into the rest of the video. Let's get into the rest of the video. Number one, and I told you guys, most of the women that I spoke to about this were single. They're talking about what it is that they can't do. They can't look. They're looking at his feet, and they're single. They got nobody. Okay, well, go sit up wherever it is that you're sitting up with no one. I'm talking about you can't date a person with shoes. I'm talking about get to know a person. Look inside the person. Look inside of them. See who they are as an individual. See who they are as a being. Get to know them. And let's talk about spirits. We are all spirits and human encased, and all of this, let me explain to you, is temporary. You know, and you know what, the thing about it is people love compliments so much, and people love beautiful people, this and the other. And I tell people all the time, I weigh all of the information the same. Whether somebody is complimenting me or not, all of this is temporary. A person's looks hold no merit. What creates a person's look? Their parents' DNA. What did this person do to deserve your respect and your admiration? Just because they're two parents who may have had good-looking DNA, laid down and had a good-looking kid, it has no merit. What's the merit in looks? It's just DNA, and DNA from their parents at that. And then one thing that you ladies don't understand is that, you know what, men know when they look good. They know when they look good, you know, when they got the hazel eyes and all the girls are running after them and all this, that, and the other. So you know what happens, right? We got a group of men with the same women fighting over the same pool of men. The men who got the charisma and the suave, and they know how to talk to a lady, and they know how to dress, and they know how to attract women, and they got their little shiny trinkets and their little fancy cars and all of this, because they know that's what works to saw you ladies down. Saw you down. Easy. Easy prey, because you see, like, you know what, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. I was in Thailand one day, and I was laid out on the water. I was snorkeling, and you guys know I have a belly ring. So I'm laying out there in the water, and there are fish, schools of fish floating around me. And this one fish leaves the school that it's with to nibble at my belly, because I had on a belly ring. And that's what you do. You girls are like. Now listen, I'm a human being. I'm laying there on the water, and I can harm this fish. I could have a spear in my hand and stab up the fish, or a net or whatever, but it doesn't really matter because I got something shiny. So this fish leaves its school to come nibble on me. And that's how easy you girls are when you see somebody who got something shiny. You're like fish, brainless, going up there laying down with people who you didn't have no business being with in the first place because they got something shiny, and you're hoping through osmosis it'll trickle down on you. I'm going to talk to you about some of these men in a second. First of all, how is this person treating you? This person who got all this fancy stuff. And the thing is that there's some men who understand the formula, and they become players because they know that all they got to do is have some trinkets and they can saw you down like trees. Easy. Easy. I got so many girls writing to me about all their man problems, and they don't know what to do. They don't want to lose him. He's just so cute. All right, but how is he treating you? Don't be a fish, ladies. You know what? I have to come off of this video, but let me just talk to you guys a little bit, because I showed you my shoes, and I wish that I had the shoes that they wrestled away from me and threw away from me last year. I wish. But here, let me tell you guys a little bit about my father. Now, I remember growing up, and I remember that my father would at times take his shoes and the rubber on the bottom. He would, you know, rubber cement. He would take the rubber off of old tires or whatever and add it to the bottom of his shoes so that they would last a little bit longer. And let me tell you guys something. Number one, our lights never got cut off, ever. The lights were always on in my house. Number two, the gas tank in my father's car is always on full. There was always oil in the boiler. The house was warm in the winter, always. We always had warm winters. There was always food in the fridge. When it was time to do homework with us, our father was there with us every day doing homework with us. When I turned 16, my father threw me a gigantic sweet 16 party. When it was time for me to go to school, to specialized school, not only did my father help with me with the testing, but my father drove me. He helped prepare me. Speaking of driving, my father was there with me to teach me how to drive and took me to the place to get my driver's license. My father got me my first passport, which propelled me along my life of travel. And when it was time for me to study abroad, cuando yo quería aprender español, my father lo pagó. He paid for the course so that I could study abroad. So did my father have rundown shoes? Yes, he did. But he was a father to us, and our father never left us. Not even when it was convenient or easy. And my father did not have my father did not have parents or a living structure of how a father should be. But my father stuck with us. You know, and to me, it's unacceptable for the children to be living in Atlanta and the father's living in Arizona. He dropped off his seed and he's across the world because he knows that he can make more kids or whatever the case may be. I have a problem with that. And ladies, I want to know what it is that you're looking for in your mate. You have to remember the 80-20 rule. 80-20, please remember. 80-20. You're not going to get everything that you want. Focus on that 80%. All of this stuff, 80%, 20% of what you don't want. Can you work with a person and their shoes? Does this person have all of the characteristics that you want? You know what? And then let me read to you my favorite quotes. The classic quote of the day from my Facebook page is by a person named Kiana. And the person says, "Oh, and no, I can't handle open-toe shoes on a man. Can't do it. Not even for Jesus." Listen to what I'm saying. Not even for Jesus. And we know that Jesus was a perfect man. So with Jesus can't stand a chance, who can? Listen, ladies, what are you looking for in men? There are a lot of good men out there. Let me tell you something. Oh, let me explain to you about these playboys sawing you down easy. There's some men who got the gift of gab and they know how to attract fish with shiny trinkets. Don't be a fish. I'm going to tell you guys a little story, right? Listen, you see, part of my problem is that you guys are choosing and disqualifying people over shoes. Yesterday, I asked a friend of mine who is a lawyer. He's a lawyer, and I was at his 4-story home last night, and I asked him about shoes. And when I was leaving his house, I saw a pair of flip-flops by the door. And I was like, and they were not like cheap flip-flops. They were like thong flip-flops. And he had on a pair of those, you know those, when we were walking out, he had on a pair, they looked like very old, busted shoes to me, but this is a man who owns a 4-story home, and he's a very good Christian man too. So I'm like, what are you guys looking for? Let me tell you guys a story about a Playboy, because I knew a man who wore 3-piece suit. He used to wear the vest. I know he might have even had a doggone clock hanging off at the side, you know, I don't know. But he was always dressed to the nines, and the ladies just loved him. And he always talked about his career in medicine and working at the hospital, and he had a big black truck and all this other stuff. And he had one child that I knew of that he spoke of, and this child, the mother went and took the child and was living someplace else, didn't even want to speak to the man. I don't know what it is he done did to her or whatever, but that one that he spoke of. And on our second date, he took me to a motel. He said that he had to go to the hospital and he was tired, and he just needed to catch a quick bit of sleep. Wow, he couldn't take me to his house, I suppose. I don't know how many children he had where or what, you know, but he only spoke of one, and he didn't take me to his house. The man took me to a hotel talking about, oh, we could just sit there and talk because he was near the hospital and all this other stuff. And then, you know what this sit down and talk tried to turn into, and I was like, and I wish I could tell you the rest of the story, but it was foolishness. And then there was a girl who, an associate of mine, who became obsessed. She became obsessed or fixated with him because he just looks so good, and because these trinkets attract little fish. Girls, what are you looking for in men? He wasn't even, or if you talk to him, he wasn't even all that as a person. He never really built up himself on the inside. He didn't really have integrity. And then another guy I knew, he's very good looking, very nice body, all these different cars or whatever, and all these different kids. We're talking about 6 kids from